The Federal Communications Commission has determined the following content to be emotionally harmful.
Funny things that you think's funny aren't funny.
Give me cocks all the time. I want cocks all over me.
The Alan Cox Show kicks ass, man.
Welcome. Show me what you got.
You're not going to see a lot of cocks on TV.
Alan Cox from the Alan Cox Show.
I don't know what it's about you, but I can't even stand your voice.
You know when he's Mr. Tough Guy when he's standing behind the microphone?
I think you're the biggest asshole alive.
It's gonna be a great show.
Let's kick it. I'll say kick it, and you'll just kick it with a tasty groove, okay? 1, 2, 3, kick it. Kick it, come on. God damn it. Could you one time kick it? What the
Alan Cox.
Here we go. He'll ad-lib. He'll be fine.
It's the Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS.
Hey, what's going on, gang? Good afternoon. How are you? Howdy, howdy. Happy Monday and all that. My name is Alan Cox. Thank you for showing up. Say hi to Bill Squire, who's right over there.
Hey, creepy hugs, everyone. Thanks for listening to and watching this episode of the Alan Cox Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe.
Water.
I don't know. Where's it?
That you
Giant
lost
blue,
that
too.
giant bottle.
Still in my office. No,
Bill, is my camera okay?
Swapped out.
Yeah, it's a little high, so
Smaller
bring it,
one.
point it down a little.
See, I don't touch things, and it just
Somebody
moves on
touched a
itself.
lot of stuff because everything was different today.
I touched a bunch of stuff on Thursday. That was my fault.
Everybody's touching cameras. If
Point
you
it
want
down more.
Are your lights on?
There you go. That's good.
Are his lights on?
His lights are on, yes. Lights are on. Lights are good.
So now the lights are on, but the camera's all screwy. If you want to join us, 216-578-1007, 800-348-1007.
You sound different today, too.
I do?
Everybody sounds
Everything
different
sounds
today.
weird in here.
Are we in a different... It sounds almost muffled? Or is
No. I don't think so.
That's different.
All my normal buttons are pushed.
That sounds normal now.
It sounded different before.
Doesn't sound any different to me.
Huh.
35192 if you want to text me. You can go to alancoxshow.com for everything else. I assume there are some Instagram hotties up there.
There absolutely are.
All right.
Instagram hotties. The Poundcake is up. And then you can watch the show live.
The new Poundcake. What's it all about? Oh, yeah, we read this one. Yeah. He had to revise it.
He had to revise it. He had to take out some
there you go.
Interesting language.
Yeah. It's a little salty there. Well, that's how you learn to write. Somebody goes, redo that. It's like college. Remember college?
No.
Poundcake?
Yes, I do.
When they'd go, rewrite this.
I had 2 drafts and then the final one.
There you go. Right. You submit one draft.
My last paper in college was, I think, like 12 pages long.
Your final paper was 12 pages long?
Yeah.
On what?
I completely forget. It was some theory class. I forget.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, 12
A theory
pages.
class.
Yeah.
And you don't have it anywhere?
The paper?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Some people keep their papers.
Got like an old jump drive, I'm sure, with a bunch of that kind of stuff on it. I did a paper in college.
I just have a box full of papers.
We just submitted ours online. We didn't actually have to print ours out.
Yeah, I'm old. So.
Yeah. I did a paper in college one time on a John Mayer album. I would love to find that.
You write what you know,
right.
is what they say. Yeah. 12 pages, man. Look at you. Getting off light. Well done.
Each point, I think, was like 3.5 pages or like 3 pages. Something like that. It was stupid.
Was it like, did you make a double-spaced 25-point font?
It had to be the exact format that she wanted it. She was like, single space, single, like,
And you don't remember what it was on?
No.
Interesting.
I tried to block that out of my brain.
Oh, really? You work on a paper, you put...
But I just wanted it to pass a class, Alan. I just wanted to pass a class.
Okay.
That's all.
I guess.
Just wanted to pass a class.
Yeah, that's so foreign to me that I guess I always sound like I'm grilling someone, but I'm genuinely curious the thought process that goes into that.
Wow.
Because
I've
been out of college for a long, long time. You've been out of college for a couple of years, and you don't remember what your final paper was on.
No.
Huh.
It was for a class I probably didn't want, nor I probably just needed the credit.
Yeah, okay. All right, I mean, I thought maybe it was like for your major or something. Like your
Probably for my English minor.
Your English
Now
minor.
that I think about it.
Oh, you see how well that worked? He just wanted to get through with it. He's been slaughtering the language ever since. Yes.
But I passed the class.
Yeah.
Hey, get degrees.
Here's 12 pages of something, ma'am. I don't know what.
It fit the requirements.
Yeah, that's right.
There are words.
There are letters in certain orders in the format you requested.
I had 2 drafts.
And
Listen.
here it is. 2 drafts. That's right. And 1 bottle. Right before he turned it in. That's right. Alan, I can't believe you allowed Mary in the studio. She's at the salon all weekend.
All weekend. All weekend.
I'm hanging out
there.
I've made
taking naps.
I've made my feelings on this very clear.
Should I leave?
But I don't know. Yeah,
Are
I don't
you being
know.
serious?
I don't know. I told you this. I've said this before.
Bill got his hair cut too?
He had the good sense to cut his own hair.
No, he didn't.
He
did not do that himself.
I didn't cut my own hair, but I had a house call.
Well, somebody came to his house to cut his hair. Yeah. Well, okay.
Did you see my post about it?
Screw me. No.
Okay, I put up a video and everything. They had 3 girls, 3 salonists.
No,
oh my
I know.
God.
I know.
3 stylists.
I know. They're wearing
Everyone
masks
was
in the.
social
I know.
distancing.
Yeah, I don't care.
Everything was sanitized in between.
I don't care. I hope I don't get anything.
Do you want me to go home?
No, I don't want you to go home. I want you to go to another room or something. I mean, perfect. I know it's super, super important. So don't get me wrong. I totally get it. Everybody knows that salons and barbershops are like COVID hotspots, but totally get it. I totally get it.
How do you know that they're COVID hotspots?
Every city that they've opened them in. That's what. Look at Toledo. Toledo has exploded from salons and barbershops.
I would also like.
But again, I hope it all works out. I hope everything's good. I hope I don't get sick.
I would like to point out that I had my appointment before she went back to work at her salon. So
I think you're being a little bit ridiculous.
I know you do, but I don't think that I am. The science says that I'm not. Super important.
I don't understand how you can differentiate a grocery store and a salon where one is way more controlled than the other.
Because a salon, listen, I used to have long hair and I got it colored all the time, right? It's about a 3-hour process. 2.5, 3 hours, right?
2 hours I was there.
Somebody who's hovering over you for 2.5 hours is not the same as going to the grocery store.
Well, they're washing your hair, putting chemicals in it. They have gloves on. They're wearing a mask.
Again, I know it's all super important. I'm just,
I just feel like I felt more safe in that salon than I did at a gas station.
You felt more at what gas station?
I'm saying anyone. People can just walk in, not wearing a mask, touching all kinds of stuff.
Well, you don't walk into a gas station. You pump your gas and you go.
You get what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
Okay, fine. A grocery store. There's people with no masks, no gloves at grocery stores touching produce, doing this. You're touching them.
You can be 20 feet away from them if you want. You understand what I'm saying?
I get that you're saying they're in close. She's closer than 6 feet away from me.
She's working on your head.
Yes.
Last time I was in the chip aisle, there wasn't a guy touching my head next to the Doritos.
She had gloves on.
I know, they have to.
That's what I'm saying.
I understand.
How would anything get...
I'm just saying that sometimes we make decisions that benefit other people rather than ourselves, is what I'm saying. I've done it. I did one a couple of weeks ago. Made a decision that was detrimental to myself, but beneficial to the show. So I hope I don't get sick, is all I'm saying. I don't want to get sick. I hope I'm not. If I'm not here, there's no show. So I hope I don't get sick.
I hope you don't get sick, too.
Don't even pipe in with your teacher's attitude.
Do you hope he gets sick?
I hope that you don't act like this the rest of the
I
show.
hope that he doesn't get sick.
I love you, Alan. I read your emails. I hope you don't get sick.
Bill is a fan of science, and he sees what the science says, which is all I'm saying. All I'm saying is I hope none of us get sick. I don't want to get sick.
I don't like being made to feel guilty about something that
I'm not making you feel anyway.
Yes, you are.
No, only someone else. No one else can make you feel a certain way. Right? Is that correct? No one else can make you feel a certain way.
Sure.
Do you like your hair?
I love my hair.
Then that's the important part. How much did it cost?
It doesn't matter.
Well, I'm curious. You've put us all at risk.
$140.
I'm curious what the price of our health is.
$140.
And how did you get somebody? Why didn't you just go to a place if you were going to have a girl up at your house?
Because I would rather. Because I wanted to get my hair cut before
she went back to work. Are you sure you didn't cut it yourself?
Yes.
All right. I assumed he cut it himself.
No. I wanted her to I wanted to get a haircut, but I usually would go to her place because she has like a little salon in the basement. I'm like, just come to my place. That way I'm in control of everything that's here already. And then I wanted her to come before she went back to work.
Listen, the real losers in this whole thing are the barbershop quartets.
Yeah.
All right? Because now the barbershops are open, and these guys, they're not even allowed to gather. They can't even gather together in these places. That's all I'm saying.
Meanwhile, I'm over here nappy. I need a cut.
That's fine. Everybody's upset with me.
I'm not upset with you. I'm reading texts.
No, you didn't read all of what you just said off a text. That came out of your heart.
Well, no, I read you a text. The very first text was, I can't believe you let her in the room. I don't know what to tell you.
You want me to leave?
I don't want you to leave. No, I'm just, we're worth $140, Bill, is
Plus
all I'm
tip.
saying.
I have to stay out of this, Alan. I have to stay out of this.
No,
plus
you can
tip.
give your opinion. Just
No,
don't.
he can't.
He's a suck-up. He's being a kiss-ass.
He's not a suck-up.
I care about you. No one else does. There's a reason I'm number 2.
Well, good, fine. Somebody cares about me around here.
God.
Good. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.
Man, this guy. Right? He's in.
Now let me tell you about how I licked everything at Town Hall.
Whatever. Well, listen, we're all fine, right? We're all good. Who cares?
Yeah, for now. Who knows? I'm sorry.
See?
I actually,
It's fine.
I saw the post that you made, and I thought they did a very good job. So I think you're going to be okay.
Boy.
We were further apart than the 3 of us are right now.
Who?
The other people at the salon.
Not the girl working on your hair.
She had gloves and a mask on.
All right.
She didn't have one of the sticks like I had proposed.
No, there was no scissor sticks.
Like a clippers they couldn't use a clippers duct tape
On a
to
selfie stick.
Yeah.
Shears.
Now, this is my controversial opinion.
Well, I got to go to a break.
Okay. Well, that's quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't think your hair looks different.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to.
But you like it.
Yeah.
All right.
I put a before and after on Instagram that I know that you saw.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Well, he's seeing it in person now.
Yeah.
It looks different, Bill.
Okay. I believe you.
I
didn't
believe
see-
you that
yeah.
it looks different.
He says in person
I'm saying
didn't
it
look different.
It's not like noticeably
What's the
different.
color?
It's a bunch of different colors.
But
it's
does
like
it have a name?
rose and peach and blonde. No, she did the balayage, which is essentially like highlights, and then toned it with like a peachy rose color.
Yeah.
So it took different parts of the hair, take the toner differently.
Okay. I gotcha. Okay, well, I got to go to a break.
Okay. Would you like me to return after it?
Yes. I'm just, come on. Everybody's breaking everybody's mold. It's fine. It's fine. It's a Monday.
We're good.
Come on. Who doesn't love Mondays?
I did almost get into a fight on Saturday.
That
I'll
you're
tell
going to
you
have
about
to,
that.
yeah, wait on that. Okay, let me break here. 35192, you want to text, you can hit us up at alancoxshow.com. You can watch live there, and you can listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go on our free iHeartRadio app.
866-578-1007 or 800-348-1007. 35192, you want to text? AlanCoxShow.com for all the other stuff. Instagram hotties are there for you. The new Poundcake. What did you have before the break, William?
Oh,
you said you almost got into a fight.
Yeah, I was helping my daughter move on Saturday. Her and her significant other have decided to not be a couple anymore, so she had to move out.
She's moving out.
She moved out. She got a new place with a friend, and it's. I'm happy about the whole situation overall. I didn't love having to move her twice in 1 year, but hey, she's young. She's going through some stuff, and she doesn't have that much stuff, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But
was he the kid who couldn't change a tire?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So he wasn't even there, but we were moving everything, and one of her friends was helping us move, and he's like a white kid with dreadlocks, and there's these just white trash people that live next door to where she was living, and they were talking crap to this kid, and then he replied to them, and then they got all defensive, like, you're gonna say that to a kid? Because they're like 14-year-old wannabe white thugs, like they're just little pieces of crap.
Oh, they weren't adults.
No, they were
kids.
They were like 12, 13 years old, maybe 14, I don't know. But they were talking a lot of crap to this kid.
And saying what?
Calling him the F word and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
As he's helping move out, there's just kids sitting on a porch?
Yeah, they're bored, and there was like, it felt like 12 people living in this very small house. So they were all pretty on edge, because he says something to him, and then one of the kids gets on his phone and calls his dad. His dad comes up, and like all these just kids start pouring, like other kids around their age just start pouring out of this little house. There's just like 7 or 8 of them, it felt like, and they're all just screaming at this kid. And I'm like, hey, just go get in your car. We're leaving now. So he's trying to walk away, and then this dad pulls up, parks in the middle of the street. He's like 5'4", little skinny dude, crappy teeth, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to get her out of here.
Right.
And he's running up to this dude that I don't even know. It's my daughter's friend, and he's trying to talk to him. I'm like, hey, there's nothing going on here. You don't have to get into a fight over this. I'm just trying to cool down the whole situation. Yeah. Even though there's a lot of, I want to be like, also, social distance, 6 feet, please.
Right.
And, but I wasn't going to do any of that stuff. I was just trying to get the situation over with. And then my
Tempers are flaring.
Tempers are flaring. And my daughter is not the coolest in these situations. And so she's up on her balcony, and like these girls are screaming at her, and she's screaming back. And I'm like, can you stop screaming? Just go inside and stop playing into what they want. You're not going to scream.
Does she know? I mean, these are neighbors. Does she know
these are neighbors
these
that I guess
people?
they've had some problems with.
Okay,
but
so there's
there's some history there. I don't know any of the history. I just want to get it over with. I just want to get out of there. Like, the truck was loaded. We were on our way out of town.
The worst.
And I'm just like, just shut up. And you're not going to scream at somebody in a situation like this, and they're going to be like, that's a really good point. Right. We did overreact. So I just try to, do the whole cooler situation, just get everybody to calm down. And like the little guy, the little dad that came at me, like he was...
You could have taken him, though.
Oh, he was like 5'2" and like 108 pounds.
Yeah.
And he didn't want anything to do with me.
And he was someone's dad?
He was one of these little boys that was these little...
the little rugrats coming out of the house.
He was one of their dads or something. I didn't know. It looked like a pretty... not an ideal situation going on in that house.
Okay.
And that's what I was trying to explain to my daughter, too. I'm like, you have to understand, these kids have all been in that same house since March. They are looking for anything to do.
Right.
Tempers are flaring. So if they can have a little excitement in their life, they're going to do it. And so I just try to calm them all down, and I get them that way because I just kept stepping between him and the dude with the dreadlocks. I'm like, and I just got him out of there. I'm like, you get out of here. And I'm like, we don't need to have a problem. He's like, but he disrespect. I'm like, your kids were being disrespectful to him. What do you expect is going to happen in these situations? Everyone is flipping out, and you don't need to flip out. Let's just end this. And he's like, okay, if I ever see him again. I'm like, you're not going to see him again. Why would you see him again?
I think that we can all agree the dreadlocks a bad choice.
Yeah.
We can all agree on that.
But again, not anything I care about. I don't even know this kid.
Right.
And so I'm just trying to get this all straightened out. And because I was, I'm 200 pounds heavier than this dude that's trying to act all tough and a foot taller. Like, he's not being aggressive towards me at all. So I just keep calming him down because I know he's not going to do anything to me. And so eventually it all calms down. But man, it was just one of those things where we were so close to just getting out of there incident free. And then these kids were like, well, we have to do something to stir the pot.
They're getting out and we're stuck here.
Yep.
That's the thought.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. But also, what happened? Little white kids that will use the N-word without any regard. Like, they're just, talking like they're a little, like, I don't know. I'm like, we're not going to address that right now.
This is
But
Lakewood.
guys, you guys want to figure... No, it's not Lakewood. This is Cleveland.
Oh.
This is Cleveland, and they're just throwing it around. I'm like,
Well, they
this
noticed.
is not great.
Notice they said that in front of a bunch of white people.
Oh, I know.
I don't think they would be saying that. So the only time these people get balls and say stuff like that is online when they don't have any repercussions or amongst their little hood wankster friends.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, eventually I got those two kids by themselves, and I asked them what they said, and I'm like, well, did you say something first? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, do you see? And I'm trying to, like, get out of there, but also, like, have a little bit of a teachable moment. Be like, this escalated and it didn't have to. And they were, like, for whatever reason, I was able to, like, I was like the white trash whisperer in this situation. And
you were the white shadow.
Yeah, I was able to get through to all of them. Yeah.
So how did you were able to disperse them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were still, like, angry and pacing and trying to, but I was just, I got everybody out of there and just kind of calmed the whole situation down.
Go back to your little trashy house, you little bastards.
I did do something that I think they might have thought was more of an aggressive move than I thought when I actually did it. Like, I just had a bag that I brought from upstairs, and I was holding it.
Okay, Rob Kardashian.
Yeah, so I'm holding this bag, and I hand it to the kid in the dreadlocks. I'm like, here, take this in the car with you. Don't let anything happen to it. And so then I think they thought that I gave him a gun.
What was in that bag?
But it was
what
a
you
vase.
got in that bag?
Like a trash bag?
It was just like a little, like, grocery bag.
Oh, okay.
But it was like it had a vase in it.
Yeah.
And I just
It's a vase, sir.
Take care of my vase bag, will you? Should have whipped out a toothbrush. Back!
Yeah.
Back!
Listen, if I could have gotten in some stuff about the importance of oral hygiene, I would have.
Yeah.
I'd been like, hey, kids, see
Throw
how your
floss
dad's,
at him and see him scatter.
your dad's
Use
teeth
mouthwash
are,
like holy water.
They're done. Your dad's
Yeah.
teeth are done.
Yeah.
Don't end up like your dad. Understand how important it is to brush, and floss.
Don't
every
let
day.
this happen to you, kids.
Mm-hmm. But it was just,
But
it's
they
so
just-
funny. Like, those kids were all so ready to just, like, start screaming and yelling, and, like, they all have each other's back. They all have each other's back.
Under normal circumstances, you probably would have thought those kids were funny.
Yeah.
Like if you'd
Like,
been walking by.
if I was watching this
Right.
on, like, Instagram or something, I'd be like, this is amazing.
But you were in it.
But I was in it.
Yeah.
And, again, holding back all the funny things that I wanted to say in the situation, but just trying to get everybody out of there without having anybody get hurt.
Right.
Because, man, people are so on edge. And that was a total instance of it where people were just ready to snap. And I'm just trying to explain to my daughter how terrible it must be in that house right now.
Yeah.
They're all just in there all day, nothing to do.
But where did the dad come from? Did he leave work?
I don't know where he was at, but he pulled up in a car.
Because that had to be like
and jumped up. Like,
He was at the dentist. That's why he's so
I don't
mad.
know if that dad lives in that house or if he lives around the corner or something like that. But he, like, the kid's on the phone. He's like, "Hey, can you come pull up?" And, like, he's trying to, like,
pull up.
I'm like, oh, jeez, all right.
Threw up the bat signal.
Yeah,
The dad showed up.
and then the dad shows up and and I'm like, hey, we're just not gonna get angry today.
We're not vibing here, man.
It's a nice day out.
Yeah.
Every time I had a problem with the guy, I never brushed. You see how bad my teeth are? We don't need another problem, sir. But they have dentures, bro.
Yeah. Don't make me take the last two of them out. I'm going to knock those last two teeth out your head if you're not careful. They're hanging. You hear the hinge. They're like,
I think he still had all his teeth. They were just real.
in different places. They were running away from each other.
Running away from each other, and there were a lot of black spots
There
on
you
them.
go.
And I was just like, man, dude.
Cleveland teeth.
If dental hygiene was as important to you as yelling at people that yell at your dumb kids, then you would be in a better spot in life right now.
Maybe he thinks if all of his teeth go away, it'll be easier for him to yell at people because there'll be no obstruction in his mouth. My sounds and my noises will come out
Perhaps.
louder and quicker.
I haven't been in a situation like that in a long time, and I was just not
adrenaline going.
Not even like I was pretty calm through the whole thing because I saw how stupid the whole thing was. And I wasn't offended. Like, I didn't know the kid that was getting yelled at. I don't know these kids that... And so I just wanted to be done. So, like, a little bit of adrenaline, but mostly, like, this is ridiculous that this is happening right now.
That's how all fights look. Like, all fights they never make sense. Never over something sensible.
Like, that whole thing of I have to, like, yell louder to try and get my point across is just bananas to me. Just the whole, like... You're disrespecting me. I gotta show everybody how tough I am. Like that tough guy attitude, which is just straight fear most of the time, is so silly.
Yeah, you're like, what's all this respect you're commanding in other places, by the way?
Yeah.
You feel disrespected. What are you, a duke? Mm-hmm. These kids don't look like they respect anybody either.
A dirty 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I demand respect.
Yeah. You disrespected me.
Your dad doesn't respect his dental hygiene.
And then they also are the ones that started it, too. So... if they're saying stuff to this dude...
Now, did you look at the guy and point to the kids and go, they started it?
Yeah, no.
That would have been the power move.
That would have been... Yeah.
I'm going to finish
just saying this. I just said there's nothing going on. There's nothing worth all this energy that's being expelled at the moment. Like, all this anger doesn't make sense because people are just yelling over nothing.
You disrespected me.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, you know these kids. Mm-hmm. You know what they're all about. You know they've
that's
been
kind of what I wanted to say.
Yeah, you know what they're all about.
Dumpster babies.
And then I love too how they're talking crap to this grown man, and then as soon as he says something back, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna talk that way to kids?" Like they started it.
God, yeah.
It's like there's no winning in that situation. So it's not a moment where I'm gonna try and reason with them and explain to them why things got to where they're at. I just want it to be done.
Well, if they called him the F word, then I would just dance in the middle of the street and do a little twirl and then swing my dreads around and then call it a day.
Was he gay?
No.
But you know, these little badass neighborhood kids always want to call somebody the F word.
Yeah, they're dropping F-bombs and N-word like crazy, so I don't think they're all that, they're not really all that discerning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Hey, Joe in Philly.
Yo, what up, guys?
What's going on?
Hey, so I heard Bill mention that he was a white trash whisperer during that melee there, but I'm interested to hear how Ruth from the Ozarks would have handled that situation.
She would have escalated the situation.
Yeah. There would have been firearms going off.
You just want to scream at my kids? You're going to yell at my kids like you think you're a big man or something? Get the hell off my porch.
And you did it without swearing. Good job.
Yeah,
I know it's so hard.
It's so hard.
And everybody would have dispersed.
Be safe, guys.
All right. Joe and Philly just dipping in for
I like it.
For a Ruth Langmore drop. Yeah, all right. Oh, Fred Willard died.
Oh,
yeah,
so
what a
bummer.
Yeah.
Fred Willard. Let me get rid of the banjo.
It's a good transition.
Oh, Fred Willard died. Oh, he would have loved this, really, if he had... Yeah, he was 86. He was in everything.
Hey, what happened? She is really giving him a thorough going over. Are all judges that thorough?
Very important that all the attributes are examined. Teeth, eyes, ears,
Ouch.
gums.
Am I seeing right? Where's she putting her hands now?
She's just checking out the dog's testicular area to make sure.
Hate to go out on a date with Judge Edie Franklin, have her judge me.
Right, but I think my son is just going through a phase. I have no idea where he would have gotten a hold of German pornography. But you and I are mature adults. We've both seen our share of pornographic materials. Oh, you never have? Right, I'll stop by the school a little later, Sister Margaret.
He was in everything, and depending how old you are or what you're into, you've seen him in something. He would do voices for like Nickelodeon cartoons and stuff. I think he did like Kim Possible. He was on Modern Family. He was on Everybody Loves Raymond. If you like the Christopher Guest movies.
He's in those, and he's fantastic in those.
He's in Anchorman. He's the station manager in Anchorman.
I Think You Should Leave, the Tim Robinson sketch comedy show. He's in one of those sketches.
He's playing the church organ. And
but he's normally filling in. But he normally does like hockey games and baseball games.
That's
so
right.
He's playing a wacky organ at a serious funeral.
Yeah, it calls him Parson. I'm filling in, Parson. He was on this show 3 years ago. We were great. so excited to have Fred Willard here, and it was a weird confluence of events where I already had Tom Papa on the show because he was in town, but Playhouse Square, because Fred Willard was from Shaker Heights, they were doing an evening with Fred Willard. Mm-hmm. And so Fred Willard and Tom Papa were in here at the same time.
Every once in a while, I'm asked to host something.
Yeah.
Or would you do 10 minutes for some? I do every year something for the Peter Boyle benefit.
Yeah.
We were friends with Peter, and we're still friends with his wife. And so every year I try to come up with something new. Last year I did my impression of Elvis Presley as a stand-up comedian. It was a great premise, and it went very well. But then you bring up a lot of old things, or you sit down and come up with something new. I enjoy that, but I envy someone like Tom who can do 45 an hour. I mean, that's really something. I used to do it when people, after I did a show called Fernwood Tonight.
Yeah.
People would come to see me, and I could do an hour. I went with a 4-piece band. I went to the boarding house in San Francisco.
Wow.
So I had a band supporting me.
Nice.
We did some spoof rock and roll songs. I did a lot of stuff. And but when you hit an audience that doesn't quite know who you are, and it's Saturday night,
it's a little tougher.
It's a little, and you got to win. And I was never one to want to try to win over an audience. I never said, let me stay on here till I get this. So I just said, let's get up. My last joke, I come off the stage. You only did 20 minutes. You're supposed to do 40.
Yeah, right. Fred Willard's final role is going to be in Space Force, which is the forthcoming Netflix show. It'll premiere a week from Friday. He plays Steve Carell's dad. And so if the last thing that Fred Willard did... Ironically, he was in a pilot for a show called Space Force in the late 70s, but it didn't get picked up. And so even if you were watching something awful, because there have been some bad television shows and films, if you saw Fred Willard in it, you knew that there would at least be some portions of that production that you would laugh at. Because, when you're in that many things, a lot of them are going to stink. Mm-hmm. I remember he was on the very first episode of Drunk History, if you're into that show.
That's a great show.
Yeah, he was Deep Throat. They did Watergate on Drunk History, and he was Deep Throat. He was on King of the Hill, and he was on everything.
He's done so much.
He was fantastic.
A legend.
His wife's been dead for a few years. But Martin Mull is not that old, though, is he? Martin Mull's also from this area, and they were together in Fernwood Tonight.
I think he's about 10 years old.
Yeah, you're right. 10 years younger.
Yeah.
Fred Willard was on Roseanne back in the day.
Yeah.
My wife's a huge Roseanne TV show fan.
He was Martin Mull's husband or boyfriend. Or
there you
whatever.
go. Yeah. So, Fred Willard, dead, 86.
And like that was a big deal because that normalized like a gay relationship where...
It was pre-Ellen.
It was pre-Ellen,
Yeah.
and it was also one of those things where neither of the guys were like super gay acting. So it wasn't like this caricature of gay men on TV. It was two
Will and Grace,
pretty regular like guys that happened to be gay, and I thought that was a really big deal and really just kind of showed people like, oh, these are just people.
Yeah, right. He's in Wall-E too. Somebody else pointed out. Yeah, he was in everything.
Wall-E. Yes.
Yeah, I haven't seen Wall-E in a long, long time. I rewatched half of Finding Nemo in the where was that? I'm clicking through and I got sucked into Finding Nemo.
It's a good one.
I would have never thought that I would have, but boy, I got sucked in.
That's one of my favorite Pixar movies. It's a cute one. I like that one a lot.
Well, here's how stupid I am, because they've made a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm watching, I go, I forgot Ellen DeGeneres was in this.
Yeah.
She's the main character.
Dory.
Yeah. And Albert Brooks, the great, great Albert Brooks, is the dad in that film. Okay, I've got a break. If you want to get a text in, 35192. AlanCoxShow.com. You can watch live there. Got the Instagram hotties for you as well. And we'll be back after these.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. And everywhere you go.
It'll burn and burn and burn. They won't be able to sit down because of the burning in their butthole. You can't sit down because of the burning in their butthole. You can't sit down.
Quarantine's a hell of a drug, boy. People are just taking whatever old footage they can find and putting music to it.
They missed the part where he said the manufacturers will have to create manufacturing chairs because they can't.
Yeah, fire retardant chairs because they won't be able to sit down.
They have to be able to stand up because they won't be able to sit down.
Everyone that practices sodomy from the day of this message will get cancer in the butthole. It'll burn and burn and burn.
Yeah.
Did that come to pass?
It did not come to pass. No, every sodomite did not get cancer in the beehole.
Some did though, from the day of that message.
And that guy, some did, but he was
Some.
pretty definitive and
Blanket
unequivocal.
statement.
Yeah, and he did.
If
He
he
lost
says
his.
some, that could be just coincidental. But if you say something like all, then you know that he, like, if everybody that was a sodomite got butt cancer after that, then you go, okay, this guy's onto something.
I would have felt like that would have made the news.
Yeah.
Breaking every sodomite. Boy, there's a celebrity death for every generation. There was Fred Willard. If you're Ken Osmond died. He was Eddie Haskell on Leave It to Beaver.
Oh,
you got to
really?
go way back for
Yeah.
that. That was before my time. I think Leave It to Beaver was off the air by the mid-'60s.
Whoa.
But Ken Osmond played Eddie Haskell.
Didn't they do like an 80s version of Leave It to Beaver where the bee was all grown up and then like he was the neighbor still?
Maybe.
I think it was the same actors.
Oh, Jerry Mathers has been, he's basically made his career off of going to Comic-Cons and things and signing things for people who remember Leave It to Beaver. But
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, nothing wrong at all. You can't hate the hustle. Eddie Haskell became kind of shorthand for kind of the suck-up neighbor, and if you ever watch Leave It to Beaver in reruns, you'd be like, "Hey, Mrs. Beaver." I don't know anybody's names in this thing.
Yeah. Mrs. Cleaver.
Mrs. Cleaver, right? Because he was Beaver Cleaver. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a suck up to the parents, but he was the one causing a lot of the problems.
There you go. He's a ne'er-do-well. And Lynn Shelton died very suddenly, too, who you might know some of her work. You might know that she was also Mark Maron's girlfriend. This poor guy can't catch a break with the ladies.
Yeah, finally gets one age appropriate and then gone.
She was his director on Glow, if you watch Glow on Netflix. And they've been together for a little while, and I guess she died very suddenly of an undiagnosed blood disorder.
Oh, wow.
If you follow him on social media, he was talking about how she collapsed and they couldn't revive her.
That is
in the
terrifying.
hospital. Yeah, it was awful. It was not COVID-19. They said that she had been ill for a while, about a week, and then collapsed. But she was an independent film director. She directed a lot of episodes of television. And if you were a fan of New Girl, which I was a huge fan of that show, she directed a lot of those episodes. She did the Mindy Project, all kinds of stuff. She was kind of, she was very good at what she did, and she had been with Mark Maron for about a year and a half. And she died very suddenly.
Well, that is very sad.
Very sad for young Mark Maron and for her family. Equally as sad is the TV cameraman who didn't realize he was being streamed live on the station's Twitter account. He's on Periscope, and he was covering a fire in Sacramento, and he's just going off on how his job sucked. And
oh, man.
What's the rule?
Always assume there's a live microphone.
Yep.
Especially a cameraman with. But he's just out there shooting for B-roll, right? He's not there. He's not doing a stand-up with anybody. KCRA in Sacramento is a cameraman who I assume is in a lot of trouble now because he was filming something and talking to someone. I don't know if he's talking to somebody in the studio or what.
I feel like this is also a weird time to talk shrimp about your job.
Because you have
Because you have a job.
Man,
like,
hang on like grim
I know
death.
there's some, like if you were working on the front lines, you're in, medical workers, stuff like that, you're allowed to complain all you want. But if you're just lucky to have a job, be grateful. Because not everybody does right now. 1 in 4, right? Unemployment?
That reported. Reported, yes.
That's fake news. 4 people here. We all got our jobs.
Shut up, Poundcake.
Well, okay. Well, I spoke too soon.
The day's not over yet.
You want it to be true?
Right. Fake news.
Just clarify it.
Shut up, Poundcake.
Yeah, and especially, a lot of television now. It's MMJs. It's multimedia journalism, which is a fancy way of saying I got to be my own cameraman. I got to be my own sound guy. I got, you set up your camera, you run your. So for this guy to even have a gig as a cameraman in Sacramento, which is not exactly New York City.
It's a big market, though. It's a nice market.
Sacramento? Spoken as someone who's never been to Sacramento, I would assume.
My roommates used to be in Sacramento.
Well,
well, there you go, Alan. He knows everything about Sacramento.
Of course.
Somewhat.
Yeah. Sacramento
they're
kind
in
of
San
stinks.
Diego.
They travel all over. Every 90 days.
Every city starts with S, Bill. They went to San Diego, Sacramento,
Seattle.
They went to
Strongsville.
He is pretty good.
Let me play this guy for you here. He's talking. I'm not sure who he's talking to.
He is pretty good. I heard he's got a big too. So. Dude, you got a big. I'm about to go put this thing out. Yeah, how you doing? This job really sucks. Oh, this is horrible. At least this is news. You know what I did earlier? I drove 2 hours to not see chickens being unloaded out of a truck. Yeah, they're saving 1,000 chickens from some farm in Iowa. I'm like, who the cares?
There you go. And I guarantee every television cameraman has, if you were working in television and you're a cameraman, you'd be like, yeah, that could have been me.
That's really funny, though. He drove 2 hours to not see chickens.
Like Veronica Corningstone in the Cat Fashion Show.
I feel like
Seth Rogen's the cameraman.
You can't blame him.
No.
Those are all valid points.
Yeah.
But again, you have a job.
Right.
And you're being live streamed on the station's Periscope feed.
Oh, people like that all the time, where they talk about, I think Jared Sandler, who is Adam Sandler's nephew, I follow him on Instagram, and he was in the new David Spade masterpiece, The Wrong Missy.
The Wrong Missy.
And he had to shoot a scene where he walks into water in like regular clothes like 14 times, and he kept apologizing to the people that had to blow dry his shorts between each take, and go, oh, I'm so sorry that we didn't get it. And they go, no, this is fine. We have work today. That's a good thing. So we don't care how many takes you have to do. This is our job. We're happy to do it, because if you weren't doing this, we wouldn't be here, and we wouldn't have any income today.
Yeah, I think Sandler put his whole family in this one. His wife's in it.
Yeah.
His kids are in
That's
it.
kind of his MO. And then he also...
Nobody
shot more movies in Hawaii than Adam Sandler. And his wife has been in a bunch of his movies.
Oh, I must not pay that close attention to them.
And his kids, he works them all in.
Well, yeah, it's like Michael Caine, the great Michael Caine. He used to take jobs based on where it was being shot.
Well,
so
that's
they would say, do you want to do this movie? Where is it? It's in Belgrade. Nope. We're doing a piece of crap in the Virgin Islands. I'll be there.
Yep. That's why he's in Jaws 4.
There you right. It's going to be on a beach. I'm there. Alan, tell Poundcake, that's why locals call it excremento. Yeah, it's not a great place to be. Alan and I listened to a bit of Marin's podcast about Lynn. Somebody should put him on suicide watch.
He's already a sad guy.
He's always
sad.
on suicide watch.
Yeah, but he finally got it. He's had a couple of divorces along the way. And,
it's very tragic.
And he's in a much better place professionally than he had been for a long time. And he finally got himself a woman in the biz, who can kind of understand the twists and turns.
When Bill and I went to go see him earlier in the year, when he came through the Agora, we were sitting there, and I was like, man, could you imagine riding in a car with that guy? Like he just had nothing positive to say for 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like, everything was negative. And some people have that point of view, but he was talking about him and his opener, like driving somewhere together to a gig for 6 hours. I was like, man, that would be a tough car ride to just...
Well, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe he didn't say anything at all. Just sitting there.
It could just be quiet.
Yep.
Maybe he saves it all for the stage.
He might. That is a huge bummer. I'm not trying to make light of it, but that's a...
He could just turn to the guy next to him like, you know what? I really hate the way you swallow.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, little things pick at you when you're alone in the car for 6 hours.
Or maybe he's in a great mood in the car.
Might be.
You
Loves
know?
car rides like a dog.
You know what? It's fantastic.
Yeah, just head out the window.
I mean, what's the pettiest thing that you have like picked at someone when you're riding in a car with them?
I generally don't.
Yeah, if the quieter we can be, the happier I am.
I'm fine with that.
Mary, I thought you complained when the guy had his feet up on the dashboard or something like that.
No. I put my feet up on the dashboard all the time.
I thought you said the guy put his feet up and his feet were stinking.
You were
in my car.
You had a long road trip with another
Oh,
comic.
his feet smelled so bad, and he took his shoes off. I was like, "How do you not smell that?"
And he
like
tried to
that.
pretend.
And he was just like totally acting like it was normal. It was freezing. We're driving through North Dakota in when was I there? November.
Yeah.
So I couldn't roll the windows down. I was like, "Dude, you got to put your shoes back on."
Did you tell him that?
No, but I felt it. But that's different. Being outwardly like gross.
Okay.
That's not nitpicky. That's like, hey man, you stink a lot.
One thing
Like,
that drives me crazy is this is more back in the days when you had CDs, but I went on I was doing a comedy gig and my buddy had the week off work. I'm like, do you want to just go with me? And he's like, okay. So he went with me and he would change the CD after every song.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we have such a long trip.
He was treating it like a radio.
Yeah, and I'm like, we have I don't want to hear. I just want something that I can put on and ignore for a while, so that 2 hours can go by and we can, be 100 miles down the road. And whenever you change the CD out, it makes me crazy because now I know in 3 minutes you're gonna do it again.
Yeah.
And it's just so that I think is more of the nitpicky type situation.
He's got a big black book of CDs.
Yep.
So you flip
And he goes,
through
and now I want to. Yeah, and then he's
flipping
flipping through trying to decide which one he wants to listen to.